Bloody hell. Everton, you're not good for my health. You know what? Leaving it to the 98th minute, and not just that, it was a goal scored that was very reminiscent of what old Jags had done. Basically, last gasp, just a shot of a Hail Mary into the back of the net to get the equaliser. And it was by one of our number 6, or one of our older centre-backs. Bloody hell. All I can say is fucking up the toffees for that one. Right, let's do this. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the School of Science. My name is Luke, and this is the post-match reaction for Everton versus the other lot. Everton 2, the Red Shite 2. Now, before we kick things off, I said this in one of the previous videos and we'll be saying it again. If you do like some Everton memorabilia that has talking about the nice brand new stadium, I want you guys to go down to the Bramley Moor pub and show them some support. They don't just do these scarves. They do shirts, jumpers, beanies, clocks. They do a lot of stuff. They do a nice wide variety of stuff. So there is more than likely going to be something there that takes your fancy. And it's both a combination of Everton and Bramley Moor. So it's a nice little balance. So when you are going, if you're going to the test event, or this is going to be one of your first games going into the brand new stadium, I want you guys to get one of these because honestly, they are some amazing bits of merchandise. They are nice, durable, because I mean, you're seeing me doing this right now and it doesn't fray, it doesn't strain or anything like that. It takes an absolute beating. It feels nice, it's nice and soft. And winter days, as we know, we're going to be on the water, so you are going to be exposed to the cold. So this will be great to keep you warm, I promise you. And also, I can guarantee when you wear this, it will boil the piss of them angry little copites. So do us a favour, go down to the Bramley Moor and get yourself some of the Everton and Bramley Moor merchandise. Right, onwards with the video. Come on. Right, so with this game today, I'll be honest, before the match has even kicked off, I was nervous. I always am when it comes to Merseyside derbies because, as you know, a Merseyside derby, although past performances should not, well, they never go into these games because the derby is just, it operates on a different universe to what normal Premier League games operate on. You still have those anomalies. Normally, it's the straight tackle, it's the mad goal, or it's the biased refereeing. There's always something that does mess with the whole, you know, randomness of a Merseyside derby because it is a game unlike any other. It has to be. It is one of the most popular footballing derbies on the planet. Just the fact that there is such a rivalry of two teams that are so close together. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the distance is going to be growing a little bit. I think we're going to be like 2 to 2.5 miles away from each other now. I mean, quite frankly, it's too far. It's not far enough. I would like to see them fucking off back to Norway. You know, go back to your little Baltic area and all that. I am joking, by the way. I do have respect for Liverpool and the fans and whatnot. But yeah, it's one of those derbies, and as we know, it's because of the brutal history that we've had together. We are a team. Well, we're two very big Premier League teams that always have each other by the throat. There's very rare times. It's very rare for a Merseyside derby to be so severely one-sided, and today that was definitely not the case. It's this game today, it was very even, pretty much from the word go. I believe Liverpool ends up having 60% of the possession, so it's like 60-40. But yeah, so within the first 10 to 15 minutes of this game, Everton was seriously asking questions of the Liverpool squad. We were pushing, prodding, we were trying to find whatever holes we could in that defence. Now, bear in mind, Van Dijk is a decent defender, likewise with Konate. But on the 10-minute mark, we did find a nice little hole that we could exploit. And it came from a James Garner free kick. So as we know, when it comes to these free kicks now, we've kind of opened up a new little way of doing them. In the Leicester game, as we know, James Garner threaded the ball through. Beto got himself onto it, scored a nice little goal there. And it was pretty much a carbon copy of that in this game today. So James Garner, rather than it being an open play pass, He had threaded the ball through from a free kick, and Beto pretty much managed to escape Van Dijk, got around Canate, got the ball, and just pushed it through nice and smoothly, past the leg and arm and Alisson. And as we know, Beto loving his little celebration as usual old. I love that bloody celebration of his. It is a cracking celebration. I want to know the origins of the fist pump and knee up celebration. What is he breaking something? What is he doing? Someone tell me what he's actually doing there. But yeah, so yeah, after the 10-minute mark, Liverpool did actually amp it up a little bit, and they did equalise around the 14th to 15th minute mark. And it was to be honest, there's no singular person that can take the blame. There's about 2 or 3 people who can take the blame for this one. First one being Corey. So what has happened is we managed to get the ball from the back. We were pushing forward, and rather than him either carrying on with the ball or punting it across field, he tried to do a short pass to Idrissa Gana Gueye, and it got intercepted by one of the Liverpool players. And then they pushed forward. They did a few little passes here and there, and then McAllister was able to get on the end of a cross. So in all this, there's about 2 or 3 people I would say that can take the blame. First one being Corey for not really utilising the pass and doing a bit of a soft pass that they could have intercepted on. The second one being Jared Branthwaite. He lost his man a little bit too easily. And Pickford, to a very small extent, just to the fact that he sort of left himself flat-footed. And he, in a way, sort of just watched the ball go past him. So rather than him just thinking, right, something's going to happen here, I need to be ready. He was kind of standing rather than standing like this, ready to go. He was just nice and relaxed, and then the ball went past him, and he sort of duped and didn't really get anything to it. But yeah, so after that, it was pretty much just a to and fro between us. Nice heavy challenges getting into it, so we were hitting at them, they were hitting at us. It was a classic Merseyside derby. It was one of these sort of derbies where the players were not taking prisoners. We were going in, we were crunching each other. It was a nice old-fashioned game of football. But the thing was, the one outlier today was Michael Oliver and the linesman. There was a couple of moments in the first half in particular. Well, the first half, I'll go on to the second half in a minute. But in the first half, there were moments where Oliver, it just felt like he'd lost control of the game. There was tackles being made that should have been brought back for free kicks. I mean, one of them has ended up costing him an eye, so he could be out. I've heard 2 to 3 weeks, I've heard a couple of months. I'm hoping it's the former rather than the latter, because we need him desperately. Plus with Corey now having... Now, I want someone to tell me, is it a 3-match ban or is it a 1-match ban? Because it's 2 yellows to a red rather than a straight red, which normally means it's a 1-match ban, if I'm not mistaken. Or because I've also heard that they've changed the conditioning for red cards, so you can have a straight red and just get a 1-match ban, but you can also get a 2 yellows and a red. It all depends on the severity and the conduct of how you've received that red. So if anyone wants to correct me on this, please put it in the comments below. I would appreciate that. But yeah, so Michael Oliver did lose the control of the game today. So like I said, there was tackles that were getting made that have unfortunately injured one of our best players. And as a result now, we are, we're a number 10 short essentially. And with Corey being out, so that's 2 number 10 short. But also, there's areas where he did bring it back and he did make the free kicks where it was just completely unnecessary. Either the tackle has been made and things have been carrying on, or that team, the person who's made the tackle, or well, the person who's been tackled still has the advantage. And he was trying to roll it back for free kicks. Quite frankly, I just felt like Oliver was not the player, well, not the referee for this game. They needed someone. In all honesty, I would be half tempted for people to say, right, games of high controversy, rather than having a English referee, we need to go to Spain, Germany, France, somewhere like there, and say, right, we need someone who is outside of this country, who's got no biases or ties to either one of these clubs. You, here, you're refereeing. It's a double-edged sword in the way that there could be a potential language barrier, or anything along them lines, but I think that would be the fairest way to do it. If it's a game of high controversy, that would be your best option in my honest opinion. So yeah, going into half time, it was a really solid first half from us. We really did ask questions of them. They were doing the same with us. And then coming into the second half, from the word go, we cranked it up 2 or 3 levels. We were doing basically the same thing again from the first half, but we'd amped it up a lot more. We were really pushing at them. We were barraging them. Jack Harrison, he'd come on and he was playing in the role that he's meant to play. He was acting as a left winger. The only thing, in my personal opinion, and my only critique is he was trying to take too many players on. Now, this has always been a problem of his, whether that be when he's a number 10 in the centre or operating off the right wing. He tries to take on too many players. So what he needs to be able to do is, if he wants to beat one player, great. So beat one player, put a pass out and work from there. But instead he tries to beat 1, 2, 3, 4. He tries to beat the entire opposition squad before he has a go. But I don't see this as a good thing. This is a really bad thing, just for the fact that this is the Premier League, mate. You're going up against a lot of elite players. Sorry, I was about to sneeze then. And doing that, it's almost guaranteed you're going to lose the ball. Iliman Ndiaye does do that, but he knows when to pass. He will beat 1 to 2 players and then he passes on. You try and beat 1 to 2 players, and because you've only got a left foot, you remind me very much of McNeil in that regard. He's only got a left foot in some situations, and what I've found myself is you'll have the ball, try and beats 1, turns, that player he's beat is now coming back at him now. So he's got himself stuck in the corner, and either he'll be dispossessed, he'll make a sloppy pass, or he'll pass it backwards. But yeah, so from there, again, we were asking the questions of them, we were peppering at them, and then they made a couple of subs. So they brought on, they took, pardon me, sorry, my throat's a little dry right now. There we go. So yeah, took a couple of their players off. One of them should have been sent off in the first half, but obviously, can't be doing that. You can't be doing that to your favourite team, can you, Michael Oliver? You can't be sending off your favourite players. You're going to mess with your fantasy league. So yeah, so they made a couple of subs, and from there, they had the fresh boots on the ground. We were still working with the lads we had from the first half, and you could see the fatigue was slowly starting to eep into the lads. Tackles weren't made as cleanly. Runs were getting a bit more sluggish. Passes were starting to slowly get a bit more sloppy. And as a result, Liverpool were able to score through Salah. So from there, it was pretty much a cross had come in. Trying to remember how it went. So cross had come in, Pickford made a save. Came out to the Liverpool player again. They had another crack at it. Branthwaite managed to get a head to it, and then it came out loose to Salah. And Mykolenko, in all honesty, Mykolenko was a little bit too far back for this. I think in this situation, rather than them sitting back, the second Salah got the ball, he should have rushed and was basically dead in front of him. He should have been like right up on him like this, so that he had no space. But instead, he was standing back, so it's given a little bit too much space. And then Salah was able to score, unfortunately. So they were 2-1 up. And from there, you could see that the wind had been taken out of us a little bit. Not just us, but the players as well. Again, that sloppiness was still there. The passes just weren't getting in. And then from there, we started making our changes. So we brought... I'm trying to think who we brought. Burnham came on for Idrissa Gana Gueye. So you essentially had the number 8 who can do a number 6 alongside the number 8 that can do a number 10 in the form of James Garner. Takori stayed on. Who else came off? Trying to think who came off. Because I remember Ashley Young coming on. I remember Tim and Burnham coming on. God, this is going to mess with my head now. Basically, we made 4 subs over the course of this entire game. Harrison, Burnham, Ashley Young, and one other. Alcaraz, that's it, Alcaraz. So yeah, Alcaraz came on. He was operating on the right wing. Did he come on? Yeah, he came on for Lindstrom, sorry guys, it's like 12 in the morning right now, so I am knackered. So Alcaraz, he was having a decent-ish little run. I do think he's going to need to get, if, let's say for argument's sake, if we're not able to, if Ndai's out for too long, I do think Alcaraz is going to end up having to fall into place there. Now, bear in mind, like I said, James Garner can play as a number 8 or a number 10. Alcaraz can do the exact same. He can be a number 8 or a number 10, but he can also operate off the right, off the left, and he can be a second striker if needs be. So he will be one that will be getting utilised quite a bit. So I think next game, because Decore's going to be banned and I think Ndai's going to be out, you're going to see James Garner getting upfield a bit more. Tim Irabernam is going to fall into James Garner's role, and Alcaraz is going to fall into Iliman Ndai's role. That's how I can see it going in the future. So pin that one or clip that one and tell me how wrong I am when we go to the Crystal Palace game. But yeah, so in the second half, they were 2-1 up. And from there, they essentially parked the bus, in my personal opinion. They brought themselves back a bit and they just sort of passed around the back line a bit, making us chase the ball and everything. And you could see the frustration getting into the players. We were trying everything we could and we were just slowly losing it here, there and everywhere. And then once the sound had come up for the 5 minutes, a good chunk of the fans were saying, right, we've had enough. I mean, there was a guy to the right of me. As he's walking out, he was arguing with fellow Evertonians. I didn't get a whole lot of what he said. I could hear a bit of rambling, then all of a sudden I heard him talking about us being boo boys and all that, saying cheer for the fans, and he's saying this as he's walking out, so a little bit of irony there. But yeah, so the people who left the stadium, I do sympathise. I do not envy you, because when that ball came in, so the ball came in, and Irabernam managed to glance his head over on it, and it did just enough to beat the rest of the Liverpool players, and Tarkowski came in, thumped it with the right, and it just sailed. Now, bear in mind, if he was probably about a yard or two back when he thumped that was going over. But he thumped it with everything he put into it. Beat Alisson into the very top right corner, and Goodison just shuddered. It absolutely rocked when that ball went in. And you could see it, even when they were doing the VAR, we were still up. We were cheering, we were screaming, we were shouting. And when that finally, the thing is as well, they didn't just try and stop us on one thing, it was two. So the first one being the offside. Now, they were trying to call better offside. He was onside, so they couldn't worry about that. And the second one was a foul. I don't not know where the foul was that they were trying to call on, but it was they obviously said that it wasn't a foul in the end. So at the end of it, we got a goal. So, overall, also after the game, obviously, there was a little bit of an argy-bargy because Decore decided to rile up the Copites, and Curtis Jones decided to have a little go with him, man. Oh, Curtis, you're trying to fight Decore, mate. You're never going to win that fight, I promise you. He tried to square up to Decore, and Decore basically put him in his place, and as a result, both of them got red cards. Also, Arnie Slot got a red card as well. Obviously, he was whinging at the refs and all that. And basically the referee turned around and gave him a red card. So he's going to be missing for a couple of games now for them. He's going to have a touchline ban. So, yay. But yeah, at the end of the day, that was the last Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. And it's still not sunk into me yet, to be honest. It's a very, very weird feeling that just hasn't sunk in just yet. I think over the course of time, I'm going to come to terms with there's no more derbies onto the Goodison Lights. Because let's be honest, night games at Goodison are always a magical thing. Regardless of whether it's a Merseyside derby, a Premier League game, or even a cup game, it's always a lovely thing to be a part of because it's such an old stadium that has its charms, and when it's lit up and you've got that glow inside of the stadium, everything just seems to come alive all that more. Don't get me wrong, it's lovely anytime you go, but the night games are just something else. The team plays just a bit different as well. The fans are a bit more, there's something about them that changes at the night games. We become a bit more into it, we're more forward with it and everything. It's just a very, very strange sensation, and it's one that can be very addictive as well. So for this to be the last Merseyside derby is it's something. It is something. It's like when you're about to leave your old house, you know, like your childhood home. You've got all the memories, like you've got like the lines on the wall of when you were growing up, where it's like 7, 8, 10 and all that. As you were growing up, it's seeing them, it's looking back on them, the nostalgia that hits you. Because I always remember, like last season, I remember the Branthwaite goal and the Calvert-Lewin goal. The one before, well, one quite a while before that. The Dan Gosling goal, I was there in the Park End when Nat got sailed in. The 3-0 when Andy Johnson got his third, because Pepe Reina decides to try and push the ball backwards and he just nods it in. There's just so many memories that are going to be gone. Well, not gone, but there's so many memories inside them walls, and you're never sort of going to recreate or relive once it's done. And it's definitely going to be a feeling. It is going to be a feeling. But yeah, guys, that was it. That was the last Merseyside derby, and to be honest, it's a very fitting one. Like I said, two teams were going for the win, and we ended up with the draw. And, you know, we fought like actual, like it was a manly game of football where we actually fought proper. And it is one I'm going to miss. It's going to be a weird feeling when we have our first Merseyside derby at the new stadium. It's going to be very weird. It's almost, I'm going to be concerned that it's going to feel a bit sterile. But time will tell. But anyway, guys, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. If you like the video, you know what to do. If you want to suggest anything to me, put it in the comments below. If you want to leave me opinions about the game, if you want to let me know how shit Michael Oliver was, put it in the comments below. I do really appreciate it. Also, if you want to share this with your friends and family and everything, just say, hey, look at this guy. He's talking about the Merseyside derby and how shite Liverpool were and how shite Michael Oliver is. Do it, share it. I do greatly appreciate it. But anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Everton are going to be playing Saturday, 5:30 against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. So, I've said it once, so I'm going to say it again. Up the fucking toffees. Have a great week and peace.